at 8 on TV1.
A stunning performance by Serena Williams at Wimbledon on Saturday. She, of course, considered by many to be one of the greatest athletes of all time, not just female tennis player, folk, greatest athlete, period. Winning her 21st major title puts her one behind Steffi Graf for the record all time in the Open era. Margaret Court is the biggest winner at 24 of all time. Yet, despite winning, it's very interesting when you begin to talk about Serena Williams in terms of where she stands in the sport. The Daily Beast had a piece over the weekend where they talked about Serena Williams and the fact that she makes less money, half as much money, than the woman she consistently beats over time. You would think if you are the best in your field that the marketing dollars will flow. So the real question is, why is that? Is it a question of the standard of beauty in the world, that is, that of a blonde, blue-eyed white woman? Think about, of course, Anna Kournikova, a woman who never won a single tennis title in her entire career, yet she made more money off the court than any other woman who played tennis. This issue also came up when the New York Times did a piece talking about the issue of body image in sports. And they said, quote, that in spite of Williams' success, body image issues among female tennis players persist, forcing many players to avoid bulking up. So the real question is, why is that even a concern? At the end of the day, winning is winning. Joining us via FaceTime is ESPN writer, tennis expert Howard Bryant. On Skype, former professional tennis player Zina Garrison. Also in studio is David Frum from The Atlantic, who tweeted something about Serena and steroids. They got lots of folks talking, caught my attention as well. We'll get to that in just a minute. Zina Garrison, I want to go to you first. We look at Serena and how dominant she is, but it's interesting that she still is facing these attacks when it comes to her looks. She's not getting the marketing dollars as well. You can't convince me that if this was basketball, if this was football, if this was baseball, that she would not be the dominant player and the dominant one making money. What is at play here in tennis?
Well, I think first and foremost, I think Serena has done an excellent job of just kind of combating all of that has been said about her. She's defying the odds. I mean, yeah, tennis has always been what is considered to be the most beautiful, you know, long, lanky, blonde, blue-eyed sport. They've all consistently have always made more money. But what Serena's doing right now is she's getting ready to put herself in history even more if she wins the U.S. Open, that you're not going to be able to defy those odds anymore. And I think she's done an excellent job of just, you know, anytime they come at her with her built or the way she's going, she just seems to get stronger on the court.
Howard Bryant?
Yes, sir.
What do you make of all of this? And again, you talked about the tennis being a power game, how she's dominating. All of a sudden, why is how she looks even an issue?
Well, first of all, I can't hear what Zina is saying. I can't hear what anyone else is saying. But
okay.
I don't know if I'm supposed to or not. But I think that one of the biggest issues, there's so many different layers here, Roll, and I think the biggest one for me is if you're talking about pure competition, then you're doing yourself a disservice. You're not trying to win if you're not going to play the way the game is being played. If you look at Agnieszka Radwanska, her coach talked about how much they wanted her to keep her a woman, so she wasn't going to bulk up. And if you look at Radwanska's career, one of the reasons why she can't beat the bigger players is because she runs out of energy when the season's over. She's not in as physical shape as she needs to be. She doesn't hit the ball with enough power. So you'd have to conclude that if that is a conscious choice, then they are consciously not trying to win.
It is an issue, though, when people talk about the attacks on Serena's look. J.K. Rowling tweeted this, and this happened over the weekend. There were all these people who were saying that, well, you know, she looks like a man. Well, that was this guy who apparently tweeted she is built like a man. J.K. Rowling, of course, the author of the Harry Potter books, she tweeted back, yeah, my husband looks just like this in a dress. You're an idiot. And she's gotten lots of attacks. There was this one tweet here online. This person tweeted, Serena the gorilla won again. Grunts like one, looks like is one. You go to some of these websites and you go to these message boards, you see these kinds of attacks. Remember, you saw these kind of attacks on First Lady Michelle Obama as well. People saying those different things along those lines. But also, the New York Times piece got other folks talking as well. And in fact, David Frum with The Atlantic, David tweeted this, and I saw it and I was trying to understand exactly what was the point. David said, quote, steroids? Oh, no, no, no. Body image issues. David, I tweet you, what did you mean by that?
Well, the New York Times ran a big story on Saturday morning before the game that had a lot of very strange comments about body image issues. Okay. And how Serena Williams has bulked up. Other female tennis players have made the choice that they felt they had the ability to bulk up, but they made the choice not to. I'm not a huge sports fan, but I am a big consumer of news media. I write for media through my career. And I said, what is this reporter trying to tell me? And so that seemed to me to be the obvious implication of what the reporter was trying to say. Tennis, as you know, has had large suspicions about being very lax on the subject of doping, both for male and for female athletes. And when a reporter writes this long story saying this athlete got bulky, other athletes are not bulky, and other athletes have real questions about how that athlete got bulky, I thought, you know what, I'm going to decode this story for the people who are interested in following me.
So you were questioning the reporter and not Serena? I was
interpreting what I thought the reporter to be saying.
Because in the other tweet you said not to allege against Serena. Again, I don't know, but she's not above the question.
Okay, so what happened, so I tweeted 2 tweets on my public timeline. This one, and then it was then followed by a quote from the story. And the quote from the story said, something to the effect, I won't be able to quote it verbatim, but other athletes have said that they had the opportunity to bulk up and they chose not to. Then later on, during the day, I was taking, that became controversial on Twitter. Someone who's a Twitter follower of mine who knows Serena a little bit sent me a very angry personal direct message, and we had probably about a 25-round exchange.
Okay.
And just through my own incompetence, 3 of the tweets from that exchange then got posted to my public timeline. As you can see, they're obviously in the form of a dialogue.
So you were not insinuating that Serena Williams uses steroids?
I have no idea whether Serena Williams uses steroids or not, obviously.
But and there's absolutely no evidence. There's been no stories. There's been nothing even remotely linking her to that.
That's not quite true. But there has been.
Huh?
I said that's actually not true at all.
Hold on 1 second. Hold on, David, go ahead. I'm going to go to Howard. I heard Zena want to jump in.
Okay. Yes. Look, there is first a lot of talk about steroids in tennis. Tennis is regarded as a sport that is not taken this seriously. There have been a lot of talk about other athletes. So Rafael Nadal, is he taking steroids? Those have been questioned. In Serena Williams' case, there's been a lot of controversy because of the famous incident in her panic room in 2011 when a drug tester came out of competition, which happens pretty rarely in tennis. She took no drug tests out of competition, drug tests at all in 2010, 2011, and she went into a panic room and said that she believed that she was being attacked by an intruder, but defeated in the context as a consequence, and I don't know what's in her head, obviously, but defeated an out of competition blood test at a time during a 2-year interval when she took none.
Howard, then Zena, then I'm going to go to a break and we'll come back with our panel here.
Well, I was going to say that the first thing is that I took issue with what David was saying because I didn't think that steroids was the issue of that story at all. I didn't feel that was necessary, a necessary decoding. I thought that the story was really about whether or not a female athlete's body was a choice in the first place. I felt like when you look at the quotes from Maria Sharapova and from Radwanska's coach and from a lot of the players who were in the story, it was really about making the choice between athleticism and speed against power. And I didn't look at that as Serena's choice to bulk up story. And I think the biggest issue that I took with the story, and I know Ben Rothenberg quite well, I felt like the issue that he had to deal with in that story was even thinking that your body choice is a type in the first place, which it is not.
Zena Garrison.
Yeah, I just want to say, first of all, I mean, I think it's absolutely ridiculous. I have been, first of all, the Women's Tennis Association has one of the strongest, and if not the strongest, next to the Olympics as far as drug testing are concerned. I do know that she gets tested regularly. And then the other part, the biggest part is Serena has been muscular for quite some time, yes, for as long as I've known her. I've known her since she was 7 years old. By the time she hit, 15. So, I mean, she's had problems with her weight going up and down. She is fit. And every time when someone gets an opportunity to do what she's doing, even Martina Navratilova had the same similar question come up all the time. I would like for Americans to stop, to just enjoy what's happening as far as history is concerned and stop worrying about whether someone's cheating. Because when we get in a situation where people we do know that are cheating, we sometimes choose not to address them. Why does Serena have to be any different?
Hold tight 1 second. We come back. I want to deal again with this issue in terms of black women. The attacks on her looks. This goes beyond Serena Williams. We've seen it with First Lady Michelle Obama, other black women as well, and that deals with the issue of what is the standard of beauty in this world. And in many cases, it does not look like a black woman, even though 2/3 of the world are people of color. We'll be back on News 1 Now and TV 1 in just a moment talking Serena Williams.